Okay, so let's continue with our next video in the GitHub series, and we were looking at the GitHub actions. So in the last video, what we have covered is we have see how we can create our own custom actions. So we what we did is we have created .github folder, and the .github folder was already there because we are creating the workflows under that. So we created the actions folder, and under that actions folder, so we created one more directory that is setup AWS CLI. So setup AWS CLI is our action name, and under that we created action.yaml file. So this is our action.yaml file, which is basically installing the AWS CLI. Along with that, it is configuring the AWS CLI. And then how we have used it. So we normally this same other thing, like to use some third-party action, we use the uses and we give the action name. But this action reside in our local repository. So in our repository only, so we give the path of that file, and whatever the inputs are mandatory in our action.yaml, so we have provided that. All right, so we have covered this, but now so this action, if I want, because currently I am using only this action, but if I want some other people also use this action, so what we have to do is we have to publish this action on the GitHub marketplace. Because if you open the github.com and go to these three dots and go to the marketplace, click on the actions. So you could see a couple of actions, and some are the verified actions, right? So these actions are available, and that's why we are able to use it. So if you click on it, you could see some documentation here as well, right? So many things as well. And so how we can publish our actions here. So it's easy. So if you go to the documentation, so they said that, so first thing is that, let's suppose you want to publish this action.yaml to your marketplace. So how you can do that? So currently our action.yaml is on our main tutorial, because we are learning, we created so many workflows. We are the other source code, some dummy source code, we have some test as well. So this is just for our learning purpose. That's why we put that. But when you want to publish to the GitHub marketplace, so they have mentioned the action must be in the public repository. Okay. Each repository must contain a single action. So let's suppose if I am learning something, maybe in this actions folder I can create multiple actions, right? So under the actions I create setup AWS CLI. Maybe I can create one more setup AWS SAM, AWS CDK. So many action I can create, right? So but this is not a good way. What we have to do is we have to create a separate repository, and under that separate repository we have to place this action.yaml. So because they have mentioned each repository must contain a single action, and each repository must not contain the any workflow files. It can contain, but because if it contains, then what it will do is, when you are going to publish your GitHub actions to the marketplace now, so there are two options, there are two ways. One thing is that you will take some approval, right? So it will going to review by the GitHub marketplace, and they are going to review. But let's suppose if you want to directly publish, you said, okay, I am just testing, so this is my for testing purpose, this for my learning purpose, I don't need any kind of review from the GitHub community. So actions can be published to the GitHub marketplace immediately, and or are not reviewed by the GitHub as long as they meet this requirement. So currently we have to test that. We are not going to take some reviewal approval from the GitHub marketplace. We are going to straightforward do that. So to do that, we have to follow these things. And what are these things? These things, action should be in the public repository. So we have to create one new repository. Okay. We will place our action file. Okay. And we should not place any workflow file. Okay. Action file name should be this one. Okay. And the action should contain name which we already have, and the name cannot match the existing GitHub marketplace. The name cannot match user or organization or GitHub. The name cannot match an existing marketplace, which is fine. Then we need to publish that. So let's do that. So I already created one repository, setup AWS CLI, just to save some time. Setup AWS CLI. You can come into the repository and create a new repository, which is very easy. And then I just created action.yaml. So this is just a copy paste, right? And if you open that, you see I have added two more options. Like in the previous video, we have covered region, access key ID, secret key access. But I thought, okay, if I am publishing, let's give more facility to the user, Right. So because currently we are like installing the AWS CLI version, like pip installed AWS CLI. So it is going to install whatever the latest version is available. But let's suppose if you go to the pypyorg and if you mention AWS CLI, so currently it is going to install 1.32.34. But if you go to the release history, let's suppose if someone want 1.32.33, so this functionality is not in my action, right? So I provided that functionality. So I can mention one more input, but that is not required. If someone want, then they can pass the input. If someone doesn't want, that's fine. Whatever the latest is going to available. So default is basically false, right? And required is false. Basically, default is blank. And the output format. So whenever you configure your AWS CLI, AWS configure command, it is going to ask your region. It is going to ask key access key ID. It is going to ask secret key access key. It is going to ask the output format. Right. So I also provided some output formats because if someone want in JSON, if someone want in XAML, if someone want in table, if someone want in text format, they can provide the output format. And I have take some inputs here, and based upon that, I am configuring the output. So if someone is passing the output, then I am configuring the output as well. AWS configure set default. If someone is passing the AWS specific version, then I am checking. If AWS CLI version is blank, it means no, the user is not passing. Then just install AWS CLI. But if someone is passing AWS CLI version, then install the particular version. All right. So I have done that. Then we created the .git ignore file, which is like just nothing. Every repository I have. Then we get the readme.yaml file. So just read me how to use that and what are the inputs, which are the required input, which are the optional input. That's it, right? So now you could see this like blue banner. You can publish this action to the GitHub marketplace draft a release. Let's suppose you don't see this banner, but hopefully you will able to see this banner. But let's suppose you don't see this banner. So you could see on the left, on the right hand side, you could see there a release option. So this is the release, and you could see create a new release. So you can click on the create a new release as well. So it is same actually. All right. But we are able to see the draft a release. So click on draft a release. Now you click on the draft release. All right. So you could see. So by default, you will see this. All right. So and there are two things. One is the release thing. One is the tags. All right. So under the release things. So let me 1 second. So if I click on a draft release, all right, so you will see a window like this. Now you could see under the release action, there is some small check marks. So you have to click on these check marks. What it will do is it is going to check each and everything. So the name. So this name, whatever you are going to publish. So if I go to the GitHub marketplace and if I search this name, so there is no action available. But if I give setup AWS CLI, all right, then I have the setup AWS CLI name already exist. Right. So I can't use the setup AWS CLI name because if I am going to use this, I will see instead of this check mark, I am going to see this cross icon. Right. So we have to give some unique name, setup AWS CLI and configure, and some unique description. Along with that, we have give activity and the icon, because if you come here, you could see some people are pushing some cloud icon, some people are giving AWS icon, some people are giving this icon, some people are giving this icon. So basically you need to give this icon. So how to give this icon? So there is a one more option, branding. You can give the color, you can give the icon. So there are so many icons available. So if you go to the feathers.com, so you can use any. So I am currently using activity. You can use airplay. You can use alert circle. You can use alert autocon. Like based upon your you see, okay, this looks cool, or this is like more relevant to my stuff. You can use that. Okay. So what we have to do is we come here. Now README file already exists. Now we have to choose a category. So category you can select, because this is a utility basically. So we can select a primary category as utility. If you want to select any other category, so you can select that. Let's suppose maybe it is a continuous integration, or maybe any other thing you want to use. So you can use that. Now the thing is create a tag. If you want to create a tag, you can create that. Let's suppose generally you could see now whenever we are using checkout. checkout action slash checkout, then we see at the rate v4, v1, v2, v3. So if you think, okay, you are going to improve this, then like you can create a tag, right? So you could see it tagging suggestion. It's common practice to prefix your version names with the letter V. Some good tags name might be v1.0, v.2. If the tag is not meant for production use, tag or pre-release version after the version name. Cementable. So if you want to create a tag, you can create a tag. So let's create a tag. So create a tag and choose a tag, create a new, 1 second. I think we have to put here. Let's suppose we put v1 and create a new tag. So that has been done. Previous tag auto and generate. Now we can give some release title. So let's give some title. Action to set up and configure AWS CLI. Let's describe the release. So let me copy paste description. So let's give some more description. This section will install the AWS CLI and configure it in GitHub actions or GitHub workflow. Okay, so we have like a write that. Now you can click on the publish release. So publish release, it is asking password. So now my release has been published, right? So it is available on the marketplace. So let me go to the marketplace and let me search it. So you could see set up AWS CLI and configure by Sumanshu and Kana. So it is available because I have selected the blue banner. I have selected this activity icon. So if I click on it, I could see my like README file here. We could see, I can see my like uh, the link where my GitHub repository. I can see the category, I can see the contribution, I can see the example, I can see the everything, like we can see that, right? But how can I use that now? How can I use this? Can I use this? So let's see if we can use this. All right. So I'm not sure if we have to use like this or we need to use like let's give a try, right? So because we have published that, because in this video we see how to publish that. Yeah, one more thing, because if you noticed here, sorry, let me close the other windows. If you noticed here, let me go to the actions. uh, you could see some are verified, but our is not verified, right? Set up AWS CLI and configure. Our is not verified because we could not see. If you want that you will also get some tick mark, then what you have to do is you have to write an email. So if you want some badges, right? So this verified badge, then you have to drop an email to the partnership at the github.com to request the verified creator badge if you want. So if you then they will verify, and if they seems okay, this is like you are the verified creator, then they are going to review it. They are going to add the badge, or otherwise they are going to reject your request. All right. So we have see that how to publish the request, how to publish it. But let's see how we can use it. How we can use it. So let me open my previous repo. So let me close that and let me open the demo one. So in the workflow, so AWS CLI workflow, let me copy paste this. So currently I am using from here, AWS CLI, right? I am using from here. So let me new file and 18 AWS use marketplace AWS CLI action. dot YAML, and I can paste that. So let's see how we can use that. So probably we can use like this action slash setup AWS CLI. Not setup AWS CLI. To be honest, I am also not sure like how to use that. Let me check that how we can use that. So I think we have to use Manchu Nankana slash setup AWS CLI probably, because that is the name of the action. So let me go back to the marketplace. Let me, where is the marketplace? Yeah, this is the marketplace. So this is just the name of the action. So hopefully we have to like use like this Manchu Nankana slash setup AWS CLI. So let's try that. So we have to use like this. Let's try that whether it will work or not. So git status, git add, git commit minus use marketplace published action. Let me like give some name. Use marketplace AWS CLI action. Add commit git push. All right. So let's open our repository. Go to the actions tab, and so where is that? Okay, it's giving some error. Why is this error? Attributes must be a path, Docker image, owner, or repo at the ref. Uses attributes must be a path, a Docker image, or owner. So it is giving me this error. So it looks we can't use like this. So let me try, and give me few seconds. So it looks like the issue is our, because we added some tag as well. So we have to give @v1, because you remember like when we have released it to the marketplace. So we have added some tag. So how we are going to know the syntax? So if you go to our any like marketplace, so if you click on and you click on the use latest version, so click on it, and it is going to give you the syntax. So how to use that? So just copy paste that, and like use into like like in your workflow. So I use that, I push that, and let me try that. So this workflow is trying to fetch my action from the marketplace, which I have published. All right, so let's click on it. So it is setting up the AWS CLI. See, now it's trying to downloading the AWS CLI, and it is trying to configure it. So we are getting some error, and the error is the following arguments are required value. So which is fine, because I think whatever the values, AWS XX key ID, I think it should be ID. Let me check the secrets, because in the last time we also like did some same kind of mistake. Yeah, it's his secret, and is this correct? Okay, so let me correct that. Git push. Okay, so now if you go to the actions again and go to your use published AWS CLI action and run the workflow, refresh it. Hopefully this will work this time. So it is time to downloading. Now it is time to configuring it. So again, it's giving me some error. It could be that we have added few more field. Use published actions. Like let me click on the workflow file. AWS XX key ID, which is fine. AWS secret access key, which is also fine. Okay, so we have corrected that. So there is some issue in that. It was not picking the value correctly from the secrets. So we have corrected this access key ID, secret access key. And so because these three parameters are like mandatory in our action, whatever the action we have published. So our action we have to use like this only. All right. So if you want to use other parameter, then you can pass that. If you don't want to use, then it's okay. Let's suppose I want to use that. All right. So let's suppose I want to use that. If I don't want to use, I can like directly run that. Let's suppose I want in output format JSON. I want to install this version 32.33 rather than some other version, because some other latest version. So what I can do is git add, git commit, added optional fields, git push. So now it has been pushed. Now we can go to the actions and use published AWS CLI action, run workflow, refresh it, just click on it. It will like, so now it is installing 32.33 rather than 32.34 because we have mentioned. So we give the flexibility to the user, whatever the version you want to use, you can use that. Whatever the output you want to use, you can do that. So maybe you can, and now see, earlier we are getting the text output. So now we give the facility. Okay, do you want to see the JSON output? Okay, let's give the output a parameter as well. So we are going to see the JSON output as well. All right, so we give like a few more so maybe what you can do is, if you want to create your GitHub custom action, right, and you could found that okay, right now I am providing 5 features. Maybe you can provide 6, maybe you can provide 7, maybe you can provide 10 features. All right, more and more feature you are going to provide, the more and more people will start using it. All right, so that's it. That's the end of the video. So we could see how we can use that, how we can like so maybe I will correct this file, because I have created this readme file earlier, and later on I got to know that when I am publishing this, I publish this using v1 tag. All right, so I will like republish, like update the readme file. So let me update the readme file as well. So let me open that, because the readme file was wrong. So how to use that? So let me open the workflow file. So we have to use like this only, v1. So usage is like this. All right, so usage is like this. Along with that, so you, they someone, if they want to use, they can use. Okay, this is the only URL to automatically set up AWS CLI. They can use like this. Okay, so git add, git commit -m, update, readme, git push. So we have pushed that. So let me open our GitHub, your repository. So this is our setup AWS CLI. So if you scroll down, okay, so now we have corrected this. Along with that, we have corrected that as well. So now, but we have to republish this, right? So we have to republish this, because if you open in marketplace, okay, so in marketplace automatically it gets corrected. So in marketplace, you don't need to like republish again. You don't need to recreate the release again. As soon as you updated the README file, it's updated here. So that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you.